Episode 1. Recap. BMF returns in full force with Season 4's premiere episode, Graduation Day, diving straight into the turbulence left in the wake of Big Meech's absence. As the story picks up, Demetrius Meech Flannery is nowhere to be found, placing the burden of leadership squarely on the shoulders of his brother, Terry Southwest T. Flannery. With Meech out of the picture, Terry is thrust into the spotlight, an uneasy position that demands quick thinking and cold calculation. It's the early 1990s, and the Flannery's empire is showing signs of both success and strain. Terry tries to assert more control, determined to stabilize operations and keep their profits intact. But leadership doesn't come easy. His methodical approach contrasts sharply with Meech's charisma, creating friction within the crew. Loyalty is tested, especially with B. Mickey, who seems torn between following orders and following his own instincts. Outside, forces are also circling. Rival gangs sense opportunity, and the streets of Detroit feel more dangerous than ever. Internally, Terry's home life is deteriorating. His strained relationship with his father, Charles, continues to deepen. Charles and Lucille remain morally conflicted over the lives their sons lead, and a bitter argument with Charles shows just how fractured their family has become. Meanwhile, Detective Bryant is still obsessively on the brothers' trail, his investigation creeping closer to the truth. Visually, the episode stays true to BMF's sharp, retro-cinematic aesthetic. Gritty alleyways meet neon-lit clubs, grounding us firmly in its gritty, nostalgic atmosphere. Graduation Day is fast-paced and sets the tone for a season that looks ready to explore fractured leadership, shifting power, and the price of the empire. As the episode ends, all eyes are on Terry, and questions about Meech's whereabouts hang thick in the air. Episode 2. Recap. The episode kicks off with Terry facing mounting pressure as he scrambles to lock down a new drug pipeline. After the fallout from the failed deal in the previous episode, he finds himself making desperate moves to keep the business afloat. His cautious, business-minded approach begins to clash with the expectations of his crew, especially B. Mickey, who starts to question whether Terry truly has what it takes to lead without Meech. Their growing tension finally boils over in a fiery exchange that leads to an explosive reveal. Someone inside BMF has betrayed them. This discovery shakes Terry to the core, forcing him to reconsider who he can really trust. While Terry deals with fractures at home, the episode cuts to cryptic scenes of Meech, suggesting he's tangled up in something big down south. These brief glimpses hint at a high-risk operation outside of Detroit, likely in Atlanta, but the full picture remains unclear. A new face is introduced in connection with Meech's possible expansion efforts, but their true agenda is murky, adding a layer of suspicion and uncertainty to the unfolding story. Meanwhile, Markeisha begins to take on a more prominent role in Terry's world, not just as a partner, but as someone angling for real influence. Her increasing involvement stirs tension within the team, who aren't sure where her loyalties lie. Back in Detroit, the Flannery family continues to unravel emotionally. Charles and Lucille, still adjusting to life after their separation, are drifting even further apart. Lucille leans heavily on Pastor Swift for comfort and spiritual guidance, trying to find peace amid the chaos. One emotional standout moment comes when she pleads with Terry to walk away from the game before it's too late. But her pleas fall on deaf ears. Terry, feeling the weight of being the provider, doubles down on his choices, even as they pull him further from his family. Meanwhile, Detective Bryant, still fueled by personal loss, digs deeper into BMF's operations. His investigation heats up as he uncovers a potential lead that could put him right on Terry's heels, making the walls around BMF feel like they're closing in fast. The episode reaches a boiling point when Terry takes the offensive, launching a daring move against a rival group. Just when it seems like he's back in control, the same betrayal that surfaced earlier comes back to haunt him, leaving the mission hanging by a thread. The final moments of the episode end on a tense cliffhanger as the consequences of the discovery ripple outward, threatening to destabilize everything Terry has tried to build. The show's signature blend of 90s urban grit, bold fashion, and a banging hip-hop soundtrack rounds out the hour, making this installment another intense chapter in the Flannery saga. Review Discovery thrives on its escalating tension and rich emotional layers. Da Vinci once again proves he can carry the spotlight, portraying Terry as a man fighting battles on multiple fronts, against rivals, his crew, his family, and even himself. The theme of betrayal runs through the episode like a slow burn, keeping both the characters and the audience on edge. The dynamic between Terry and Markeisha adds complexity, while Lucille remains the emotional anchor, with Michelle Brianna White delivering another heartfelt performance that cuts through the noise. The episode's pacing is sharp, especially compared to the season premiere. Every scene builds momentum, from the suspenseful family confrontations to the street-level chess games Terry is forced to play. Visually, the episode nails the 90s Detroit atmosphere, gritty, colorful, and full of life. The action scenes are tightly choreographed, and the emotional beats land with weight, giving the episode a strong balance between plot and character. What could be better? While keeping Meech's storyline under wraps does help build suspense, it's starting to feel a bit drawn out. The vague flashbacks are compelling, but fans might begin to feel impatient without a more concrete update on his journey. The new Atlanta connection, while intriguing, is still too thin to be meaningful. It would benefit from clearer stakes or a more immediate threat. B. Mickey's character arc, too, still feels underexplored. His shifting loyalty is hinted at but never fully unpacked. And as compelling as Detective Bryant can be, his role is treading familiar territory. Another hardened cop chasing ghosts, without much evolution yet. Final thoughts. Discovery is a strong, tension-filled follow-up that deepens the emotional and strategic dilemmas facing BMF. With Terry now firmly at the center, the show shifts into a phase of internal reckoning. Who's loyal, who's not, and what it means to lead when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. The stakes are getting higher, and while Meech remains in the shadows, his presence still looms large. This episode solidifies that BMF isn't just Meech's story. It's a story about survival, ambition, and the cost of loyalty in a world where betrayal is always one step away.